welcome to the Spa Forum. You're going to spend the next roughly 90 minutes with us. We are in the lounge area, the Spa Cafe right now, and we have the opportunity to have a really beautiful view of the city. It's my pleasure to introduce Christopher Norton to you. And you know him in his official capacity as Regional Vice President and the General Manager of the Four Seasons Hotel Georges V. He also has regional responsibility for Provence, as well as Doha and Riyadh.
Well, about 27 years ago, prior to joining Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts, I worked in another hotel in Washington, D.C., and that was the times where in the basement we had something that resembled a spa like many other hotels, and we referred to it as the swim club. And it was a large swimming pool. It was a tiny room that had 3 or 4 pieces of strange gym equipment, and then there was a spa, and the spa was one room off the gym because you would go in there right after you worked out, and there was an overweight, hairy Iranian guy who would beat you up after you had your gym, and that was a spa. And so it was back then I fell in love with the concept of spas and figured that there was going to be much more to come after that. And during that same time period, the Four Seasons, which was just down the road from where I was working, was starting and spending some serious money on redoing the spa. It was in Washington, D.C., and even then it was referred to as the health club or the fitness club. And it really took the concept of a place you would go for wellness, and it took a large space in the hotel. It built a beautiful swimming pool, and it was certainly not what you would then refer to as commonplace. It was an amazing experience that you went into. It was a great workout, it was great swimming, but still there was only 2 massage cabins, as they called it back then, where people would from time to time go in and have a treatment. And if you fast forward from there, I was in Bali. It was my first GM's job, and I was standing in the gardens with my boss, who had been my predecessor in Bali. If you know Neil Jacobs, he had been with us for many, many years. And Neil said, "Chris, I've got to talk to you about something that you just arrived a few months ago, but we were thinking about building a spa here, and the owner approved a budget. We have $1 million. We have $1 million to spend, everything included: building, construction, FF&E, everything. And I want you to obviously be involved and head up the team and get it going. And I've thought about these people and that, but you can't tell home office." So I said, "What do you mean you can't tell home office?" He said, "Well, we're just going to do this, and then we will tell them a bit closer to the opening date." I said, "Okay, that sounds good to me." So 6 months later, our president for Asia Pacific, who back then was Wolf Hengst, who became our president for the world later on, came down and visited. And Wolf was a great spa fan. And Neil had left and was in Singapore, and I walked Wolf through the property. And we walked up through the gardens at the Jimbaran Bay Bali Resort, and there suddenly opens up a gaping big hole, and there were about 4,000 Balinese working inside, building this spa out of trees and bushes and rope. And Wolf said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Neil didn't tell you." And he said, "No, what are you doing?" I said, we're building a spa." And he looked at me and he said, "That's great, but don't tell Toronto." "I will tell them when we open." Okay, and the reason why I tell you the story, and this goes back almost 20 years, is that we have come from a company that really saw spas in the old way to graduating into running a business that today is about $100 million business for us. And over the next 7-8 years, we forecast to be a $300 million business. So by default, since we have a spa in each one of our hotels, we have become the world's largest operator of luxury spas. Okay, we're in every corner of the world. So the Balinese experience of building a spa that was very indigenous. We wanted people to feel like when they came to Bali, they had a truly Balinese experience. Balinese therapists, Balinese oils, thatched roofs, open water. And it was an experience that people were literally blown away by. So immediately we got incredible press. The spa was voted 2 years after it opened as the world's best spa by Travel and Leisure. Toronto then, of course, was very much involved in building the second spa, and very quickly started getting involved in understanding and participating in building Cyan, which was an incredibly contemporary spa in a Balinese setting. And so since then, we have continued with the quest of building spas, of building facilities that are indigenous to the area they locate in. Today we sit here. We're in London, and we're on top of our new hotel, our old hotel that is a new hotel. And you're sitting in a spa that doesn't look like Bali, that doesn't look like northern Thailand, or that doesn't look like the Maldives. Okay? It is a spa that is contemporary, that takes advantage of the views, so it brings the outside in. It has an architecture that is incredibly sleek and combines, as you can see, lacquers with the wood floors, and continues a tradition in the company of staying indigenous, of staying a bit organic, and of giving you a different experience that hopefully reflects your stay in London. If you would come home with me in a few days and come back to Paris, and I would take you to the spa at the Georges V that Susan talked about, you would be immersed in a spa that is a typical 18th century French. It has wall coverings of the period. It has beautiful stone. It is very quiet. It is like a jewelry box, and the treatments also reflect that environment. So as we grow and as we continue to add more spas, so 85 spas today to 150 spas in the next 5 years, we will continue with this quest of finding and building areas and facilities and environments for our guests to spend time in. Now, next to me, I have two ladies who will help me, and I will read their bios to you because I want to make sure I'm not quite as eloquent, Susan, as you talking about me. No, that's true. Well, Megan, I've known you for probably 10 plus. All right. So with me, I have Margot and Megan, and I want to talk to you about Margot and Megan and introduce you to both of them because they are very important to us. And they're very important to us because as part of what we do in the spa world, we have made decisions and commitments that are important, that take us into the world of chemical-free products. We believe that there's an important trend. We believe that consumers want a choice. And so when you go into our spas, we usually have 2 or 3 product lines. Okay? Usually one product line is a product line that is local. So if tomorrow you go to Bali, you will find a product that we find somewhere in the Balinese mountains. If you go to Hawaii, you have some oils that come from Hawaii. You will then have a line that is what we call a high-tech product, so a very effective product that works usually for the face, that sometimes is just one grade below medical prescription creams. And the third, and the growing and important part, is we want at least one line that is chemical-free, because consumers today need the choice. So we have it in the spas. We use it as often for treatments, like in Paris. We use Sodashi for our treatments and facials. And we are in the process of putting chemical-free products into all of our locker rooms and locker facilities worldwide. We're about 75–80% there. We should finish this project by this year.
Very delighted to be here and talk to you today. So Megan's going to start off by talking about what chemical-free actually means.
So for Margot and I, we're both clear on this and we both agree. Chemical-free actually means the absolute absence of synthetic chemical ingredients. And I know there's a lot of confusion around this, so we just wanted to clear up what chemical-free actually meant. So it means that no synthetic chemical ingredients in any of our products. I'm going to pass it over to Margot, and Margot's going to talk to you about what she's seen in consumer trends.
So, as Megan said, there is a lot of confusion out there about what chemical-free means and what organic actually means. And put it very, very simply, because it is a very complex area to work in. Organic simply means that 95% of the ingredients that are used in the cosmetics are certified organic. And different countries have different certification requirements. In the UK, it's the Soil Association. In Europe, it's EcoCert, and in America, it's another body. But generally speaking, those are the criteria. And so, like Megan, we spent a lot of time educating both the consumer and a lot of the press as to really why people should go organic and what are the benefits. And you know, talking through the evolution, what we saw over the past 10, 12 years is that actually the consumer is becoming more educated. They are asking, well, what are you using? And not anymore going up to a counter and literally taking someone's word for it. Oh, our product is 100% natural. When you look at the ingredients, there are a lot of ingredients that you wouldn't class as natural. And so, you know, consumers are becoming more demanding. They want to know, they want to read ingredients, and they want to understand what's being put on their skin.
Well, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to sit here and listen to us and share this passion we have. Again, I hope you got something from it. Who goes for a treatment now? Anybody? You go. Oh my God. He calls me. All right. I set up a friend of mine who's a labor lawyer. He's 53, and he's going next week to have the first massage of his life.
Great.
And he sends me a text message every day, and he says, "I'm scared." So I said, "You should be."
Be very, very afraid.
But have a lovely afternoon, and we're looking forward to having dinner with you tonight. Thank you so much.